Guess who is finally back to vlogging? I don't know how long it's been. Has it been 2 months? That was not part of the plan. I was planning on just taking a quick break from vlogging, but it just ended up being 2 months because a part of me wanted a mental break from the vlogging and just to disconnect from everything as I'm entering a new chapter or in between chapters right now. So I didn't feel like vlogging, and the places I was at wasn't the best places to vlog, or I wasn't comfortable vlogging. So yeah, over the last I think I'm just gonna say 2 months. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. But over the last 2 months, I have been unemployed. And guess what, guys? I am still technically unemployed. The job market is just that bad right now. So yeah, lower the camera a little bit. There you go. So yeah, the job market is still just as bad. I couldn't find anything. And I've actually looked in Hong Kong, and I looked at visas and work permits for South Korea in Seoul. And I looked at student stuff as well while I was like doing some research. It was a lot of fun. But here in the lovely city of Vancouver, I haven't had much luck. It's that bad. I'll give you guys a good example. I'm not gonna go in a big rant right now because it's a vlog, not me talking to you guys in general, but it's been a long time, so I feel an update's wrong. But anyway, I'll give you an example. I would apply for 10 jobs here in Vancouver. I applied for 10 jobs in Hong Kong because technically, legally, I can work in Hong Kong. Anyway, out of the 10 jobs in Hong Kong I applied for, I got 8 out of 10 interviews. And it's the same kind of career to match my resume so that it'll be easy to find work. Retail. And even though I would technically at a disadvantage because I've never worked in the retail market in Hong Kong, but I'm familiar with it because, being in Vancouver, I worked in a mall that is so used to the customer bases that are in Hong Kong. There's a huge influence. So it's not a hard transition, but it will be a transition. So I knew of that, but I got 8 interviews. Let's, for example, here, out of the 10 jobs I applied for, what interview? Actually, 2. I think of one because one of them I just don't count because it's just awful. But yeah, that's the state of it. Even though I didn't get the Hong Kong jobs, it was great to speak with these managers, these district managers over there and get a good idea. And it was actually a great conversation half the time because half the time during the interview, majority of them we ended up chatting because they're all perplexed of the decision I've made to go back to Hong Kong because it's a very different market. But again, I think I'll get used to it. Getting used to the work ethic will be a little different because everything over there is a very fast-paced culture. Everything's get in, get out kind of thing. It's not like over here where everyone takes their time shopping. And believe it or not, I was very surprised. Online shopping over there isn't as big as I think here because in Hong Kong or even Seoul, you can find what you need within a 15-minute walking radius. That's impossible here, unless you live like where I am and you get walking distance to a mall. But in Hong Kong and Seoul, I've noticed, and even during interviews I was talking, everything is within a 15-minute radius of travel time. So that's why online is not as strong. Don't get me wrong, people still buy things online there, but it's just not as bad. And it's bad as here, whereas some people just buy online just to go return it in store. I hate those people. I think I've been over that. But yeah, it's just that bad. And then I had 2 interviews here. And I've always given this piece of advice to anybody, especially my old associates, is that when you're interviewing, you're interviewing that person as well. So if you're not getting good vibe from them, just because you feel you're doing a good job and you're answering their questions well, don't forget you're vibing them out too. If they don't feel right, it's probably not a good place to work. So the I had two interviews here. The one interview I just don't really count was because the guy was extremely cold. I'm not gonna say the company name, but the guy was extremely cold. As soon as I walked in and sat down, we just started talking business. There was no introduction. I didn't even know his name until halfway through it, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't think you introduced yourself." And he was just strict up business. Whereas most interviews, even the Hong Kong ones, there is a quick icebreaker. We just chit chat in general about our experience and our back history. The guy was just straight down to business, which is fine, but that's not the work environment I want to be put in. So I was like, you know what? No. But yeah. Anyway, back to my initial point. I am technically unemployed, kind of. My old work did offer me a 5-month contract to take over another store because that store manager is going on maternity leave. Before anyone asks why just 5 months for maternity leave, does the company not offer the year like most people do? They do. This particular store manager decides to only want 5 months. And I found it really strange. And whenever I tell everybody I know, because, why is it just 5 months? I'm like, because she just wants to come back to work. And they're all the puzzled faces I get from people when I tell them that. Because it's weird. So, yeah, I accepted it. And I've always considered this as a backup because it's just a 5-month contract, right? You know, a part of me just don't think my heart's going to be in it because in 5 months I'm gone again. And anything I want to change in that store will just be undone because it's not my store at the end of the day. So my heart's not in it. And I can feel that the work environment's not going to be the best either. I've heard rumors that store has a lot of problems. You know what it feels like? It feels like, you know, those movies about high school teachers being transferred to like those really bad high schools to fix a classroom or fix a class. I feel like I'm that. I'm going to walk in there and everyone's going to hate me. I know they're going to hate me and I'm not going to want to change anything. That's the only difference from the movies is I'm not going to want to change anything because I know it's going to be pointless. So because of all those factors, it just doesn't make me want to work because I'll just be a lot of wasted energy and potential. It's not my store at the end of the day. So yeah, but I'm gonna have to take it. You know, I'm running out of money. So I'll consider this 5 months. If I can't find anything, I'll just consider saving money for another trip, hopefully. We'll see. I'm looking to go back to Hong Kong and Seoul once again, even though I was just there. So it was good. Even though I was getting rejected a lot in Hong Kong, it was such an eye-opening experience, and it was all very constructive. I learned a lot, so it's just a matter of time for me to find something. And believe it or not, during the 5 months of my contract with that employment, I'm probably gonna continue to keep looking for another job. Who knows? I might not have to stay the 5 months, right? If as soon as I find something, bye. I don't hold any obligation to this. I really don't. I'll feel bad for the district manager that has faith in me, but you know, he's an understanding guy and he understands where I'm coming from. It's not a permanent job. It's 5 months. Still don't know why she's coming back in 5 months. Like, the one thing I just don't get is why would you take a 5-month maternity leave? I get maybe she wants money. I get it. It's times are tough, but you just gave birth. You want to spend more time with the baby. In fact, it's probably your first Christmas with them, and you don't want to spend it with them because you work in retail. We don't get Christmas off, so having this opportunity to have maternity leave that actually allows you to have Christmas with your newborn child, I think it's, you know, kind of silly. Because if she extends to December and just start working again January, she'll just take 7 months. Like, it's not that bad. And you get to spend Christmas with your family and your newborn. And a brand new year, you start over again. You know, if I was looking at that perspective and I needed money, I'll probably do that. But, you know, I'm not her, but it's a little strange. Anyway, but yeah, I'm glad I'm back to vlogging. The last 2 months, I was not around that much. I only been back for like 2 weeks. And I can safely say, as much as, I grew up in Vancouver, it was always be home to me. But over the last 3 years, I've kind of lost a little confidence living here. It's a lot of just not things haven't been great, and my personal life it's just not been great being here. So it's just maybe it's time for a change. That's why me being in Hong Kong and so it was just a big eye opener. And let's be honest, the career options are a little better. I'm not even looking to tutoring or teaching English in Hong Kong, not Korea, because just to get my foot in the door. But yeah, there's a lot going on, but that's why I have no concrete plan, which is unlike me because usually I have like a plan set. But right now I'm just applying for jobs that look interesting. And then for here, I'm looking for still retail related. But over in Hong Kong, I'm kind of maybe widening my search to see what else I can do. Basically, just to get my foot in the door. I got this cap on my last trip to Seoul because it's one of those brands I always see people wearing in Seoul, and I'm like, oh, it's a cute brand. I like the logo, and it's pretty simplistic. And I've learned, yes, I look horrible in hats, but I've learned that when you have messy hair in Korea and you want to step out to the convenience store, just step downstairs somewhere like within your 15-minute radius to buy something, and you don't want to be bothered with your hair, people tend to wear hats a lot. So, you know what? I was like, I should just get a cap. So I ended up getting this cap. Sun is shining today. I'm on my way to pick up my mom because I'm gonna have Mother's Day dinner with her. Yes, I know I'm delayed, but when your mom has, when you have two other siblings and we don't want to treat each other to a dinner, we have to do everything separately. Not that we hate each other, it's just that we don't want to spend money. Like, for example, if we all combined it, it just seems like my older brother's gonna pay, and then me and my sister would have to pay him back because we don't have to, he doesn't have to pay for our dinner. But then it just seems like we're not paying for anything for our mother for Mother's Day, you know what I mean? And our mom is not the easiest person to shop for, let's be honest. She's very picky, not picky, it's more like she doesn't need anything. So she's very hard to shop for. So that's why we decided to do separate dinners, and that way my mom gets to go out 3 times. She can brag. Because I'm unemployed, I couldn't really get her a gift this year. So I just picked up some flowers. I think they're pretty. They're pretty, right? I think I have a good eye on flowers. I don't like having flowers or plants in my house, but I think I have a good eye on picking them. I'm gonna head to the SkyTrain station to pick her up, and then we're gonna get Greek food tonight, and I think my godsister's gonna be there too. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know how the payment's gonna go with my godsister, but me and my godsister are very tight, so we will figure something out. Maybe we'll split it. Who knows? These are nice flowers, right, guys? And you guys haven't seen the vlog because my vlogging camera's only focused my face right now. Alright, I'm gonna start the car and then we're gone. Oh, shaky, sorry. Alright, I'm not vlogging while I'm driving, that's not safe. Plus, this will just fall over. I don't get why my hair only looks decent after I shower and get ready for bed. I don't do anything different, but honestly, it always looks better when I'm about to go to bed. I don't know why. I don't do anything different when I shower in the morning. I do the same thing. Yeah, it always looks a mess. I think my hair just knows, you know what, James? You don't have to see anybody. We'll make you look good for yourself. I don't know why. I really don't. Anyway, I'm just got ready for bed. I didn't really vlog much today because I started working at, not new job, but I started at the job. And the store is fine. Certain things I don't like are just kind of silly. And I talked to some of the team there, and they're open to changing it to my way, which is more of a... It's not like their way was not efficient, but it just seemed a little bit redundant. But I also kept in mind saying, Boo, do you think your store manager from before that's coming back will be okay with these changes? And they're all nodding. But part of me is like, you know what? I don't have to deal with the aftermath. The poor staff does when I leave. But what I'm not going to like is that she'll be bad-mouthing me after I've left, saying that she doesn't like the changes or did things wrong. And, you know, a part of me doesn't care what she says. At the same time, I do care because, you know, in the long run, I do respect my district manager and the way he thinks of me as a worker. So I don't want him to feel like he thinks I'm not good at my job. So I just... But it's as I predicted. Her management style is very different from mine. So it's just... How do I go with it? It's just, I know what's going to happen. The changes I make are just not going to be her liking. When she gets back, she's just not going to be happy. Her short-term maternity leave, she'll be back. And then, yeah. Overall, she's just very controlling. So it's just really hard for someone like that to let go. Nothing wrong with her management style, I'm not going to lie. Like, mine's more like laid back, but I also believe in trusting my employees to do the job. So the way I train and educate my staff is I teach them things that even when I'm not around, they can make good decisions. The staff there, they're making good decisions based on what they assume what their store manager has taught them. But majority of the time, if there's any sudden changes or there's things they have to adapt, they struggle a bit because they usually just wait for the store manager. Because if they adapt the way they think should be right, it's usually wrong because she's very specific on what she likes. So, yeah. The team I used to work with that I trained just usually think, what would James do? And, you know, their educated guess usually is probably right. Whereas vice versa at this new store, their educated guess can be wrong because she's very interesting. Nothing wrong with her style, it's just I don't agree with it. And I would actually never be one of her staff. Because I've told myself not to work for managers like that. Because if you talk to them and offer suggestions, they blow you off. Like, I'm fine if you blow me off, but there's a certain way to do it so that I don't get, you know, irritated and not want to talk to you ever again. She's very... You can tell she's like not happy with your suggestion. Just like nod your head, like, oh, thanks for your suggestion, but I think we do it. I think she's just really brazen about it, about not liking her idea. Anyway, I'm ranting. I'm actually quite tired, so I'm gonna head to bed. The weather is very unpredictable. Like, it was sunny for like a minute and now it's raining again. So, I don't know. Anyway, I am home. I just went out shopping with my mom. I'm aware that my vlogging this week is pretty bad. It's my first week back. But starting at the new store, like, I have to... I kept saying I'm not going to care as much. But the problem is there's so many things that aren't... I'm not going to say it's not done right. It's just that it's not the way I would do things. So it's just annoying me a little bit. So that's why I'm a little bit more hands-on than I thought I was going to be. Don't get me wrong. The team there is very nice. As I mentioned before, it's just at the end of the day, it's not my store. It's just a little weird for me to be there. And the fact that their store manager kind of is still around all the time makes it very unpleasant for me to be there. I bought a lot of proteins because I need to cook more at home. Frozen udon, because you know me, I love udon noodles. And then my mom spotted this in the prepared section. Some Chinese sausages that are already cooked. So really useful. So if I just have like a salad or something and I need a protein, perfect, right? And then I picked up some pork chops, thin ones. One thing about CapCut is that it's definitely user-friendly. There's lots of enhancements you can do to images, and it makes it easy to edit. But sometimes when you encounter a problem, like a function's not working, there's no way to figure out why. It just says, this clip cannot be used this feature, or this clip can't be enhanced, and then they just say that, but they don't tell you the reasons why. And then you literally copy and paste the same clip again to the timeline and try the function again, and it works. I don't get it sometimes. So that's the only downside to CapCut. Other than that, it's really friendly, and the subtitles caption generator is actually pretty good on it, unlike Final Cut Pro. Anyway. Ooh, wow, I look horrible. Anyway. I am currently getting ready for bed as video is exporting. You know, I always do a TikTok for OhKdrama time. That's always fun. And I also started doing mini reviews on my TikTok too, and then that way I decided to do that is because I don't always have time to do like my 10-15 minute OhKdrama time reviews on my YouTube, but the quick ones I can do for TikTok is nice, and it gets me into the groove and gets me into the zone to post on YouTube. So hopefully more of that will come. I did post one recently. I didn't really advertise it or announce it. I just did it because, you know, I don't always do it for the views. I just do it because I like editing and it's kind of fun and relaxing to me. Anyway, apologies for this week's vlog, even though I just came back from a long hiatus from vlogging and all that stuff. And I come back and this vlog is pretty boring. It's a bit of an adjustment period. Just that I also started working back at in the store, and I'm adjusting to the new store, and I've already rambled on along it. I already rambled about it, and I'm not a big fan of it, but a paycheck's a paycheck right now. But I'm going to keep looking. But, you know, again, for the record, I don't hate the associates or staff there. It's just the store manager I'm covering is just very controlling, and I'm not going to ramble anymore. But yeah. So, see, I have to work tomorrow. I'm not excited. At this point, I am dreading going to work every single time. So, that's not good, especially for your mental health. So, yeah. Anyway, I promise the vlog next week will be better because I would have adjusted properly to working again and remembering I have to vlog. I filled the fridge today with a lot of food and stuff so that I can cook more and pack lunches for work again, adjusting back into the working life. I think I'm going to challenge myself again to not order any food or takeout next week. I'm going to see how long, not even next week, I'm going to see how long I can go without doing that. That way I'm going to save some money, because my goal for these, if I'm stuck at this job for 5 months, if I can't find anything in these 5 months either, is I'm not going to recklessly spend. I'm going to save a lot of money. That is the goal. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to buy food. The only food I'm buying is grocery store food where I can cook and meal prep. That's it. Hang out with friends, I'm not too worried about because we're all so freaking busy. So even if we do hang out, I'm pretty sure it's once a month. Let's be honest, I'm pretty sure it's going to be every other month. We're all so busy. So I'm not going to worry about spending too much about going out with friends. So that's good. So we'll see. I really want to see, because I am planning on going to Hong Kong and Korea again this coming November. This time I think I'm going to go with my mom and sister. So yeah, but I'm going to be spending like crazy then. So I'm going to save a lot of money. Plus, I didn't have a job for this long and my severance ran out. So I did dip into my savings, which I didn't really like to do. But yeah, anyway, I am probably going to end this week's vlog right here. So I guess I'll see you all next